This is the 8th video on herbs and spices. It is going to be dedicated to the 3 most commonly used herbs in Italian cooking: oregano, parsley, and basil. I have also included bay leaves. And no, bay leaves are not the same as basil. Not only is it a completely different plant, but it tastes different also. I will be discussing the uses, taste on the dishes, and many medicinal properties that they can be used for. As always, I have my disclaimer that I am not a doctor, physician, nor am a medical practitioner. I am just stating what I have read on various websites with regards to the medicinal properties of these herbs and spices. And I am by no means making any medical recommendations for you. Let's start with bay leaves. Now, bay leaves usually come whole, but they can come ground. This is what the bay leaf looks like. This is what the bay leaf actually looks like after it's been dried. The bay leaf is an aromatic leaf commonly used in cooking. It can be used whole, either dried or fresh, in which case it is removed from the dish before consumption. It is less commonly used in ground form. It may come from several species of tree, the bay laurel and the California bay tree being the most common. The flavor that a bay leaf imparts to a dish has not been universally agreed upon, but mostly agreed that the subtle addition to any dish that you should make. If eaten whole, the bay leaves are pungent and have sharp, bitter taste. As with many spices and flavorings, the fragrance of the bay leaf is more sharp than bitter. And it's a very noticeable taste also. When the bay leaf is dried, the aroma is herbal, slightly floral, and somewhat similar to oregano and thyme. In Indian cuisine, bay laurel leaves are sometimes used in place of the Indian bay leaf, although they have the same flavor. They are most often used in rice dishes like biryani and is an ingredient in garam masala. Bay leaves are used for flavoring by ancient Greeks. They were a fixture in the cooking of many European cuisines, particularly those of the Mediterranean area, as well as in the Americas. They are used in soups, stews, brines, meat, seafood, vegetable dishes, and sauces. The leaves also flavor many classic and Italian dishes. The leaves are most often used whole, sometimes in a bouquet garni, and removed before serving. They can be abrasive if they are eaten for the digestive tract. Thai and Laotian cuisines employs the bay leaf, and in a few Arabic influenced dishes, notably Massaman curry. The original plant was mostly from the Mediterranean area of the world, but it can be found throughout the world nowadays. Medicinally, the leaves and the oil are also used to make medicine. People use bay leaves for diabetes, cancer, stomach problems, pains, and many other conditions, but there are no good scientific evidence to support these uses. Bay leaf can also be unsafe if the entire leaf is taken by mouth, so I suggest caution when using this herb. Now, what dishes are bay leaves used in? Well, bay leaf is typically used in seasoned, long cooking dishes like soups, stews, and braises. But it can also enhance the flavor of quicker cooking dishes like risotto, pasta sauce, and even simple pot of rice. Recipes for slow cooker beef stew, lamb tangerine stew, or chicken cacciatore are just a few that come to mind. The next thing I'm going to talk about is oregano. Now, the oregano live leaf is what you see here. It looks in similarity to basil, and this is what it looks like when it is in the dried form and chopped. Now, oregano is a species of flowering plant in the mint family. Oregano is a woody perennial, and its leaves are usually found in opposite sides of the stem. It is sometimes called wild marjoram, which is a close relative. Marjoram is known as sweet marjoram for the other name for oregano. And both are widely used in culinary herbs, especially in Turkish, Greek, Spanish, Italian, Mexican, and French cuisines. Oregano is actually an ornamental plant, and numerous cultivators breed for varying leaf color, flower color, and that's what I have my oregano in. It's mostly as an ornamental plant, but I do have a separate area where my herbs are normally planted. In culinary herbs, oregano is used for the flavor of its leaves and is more intense when dried than when fresh. It has an earthy, warm, and slightly bitter taste, which can vary in intensity to good quality oregano, may be strong, although almost a numb to the tongue, but cultivators adapt the colder climates may have lesser of a flavor. And I've noticed that mine are exactly that. Because I'm in a colder climate, my oregano leaves are less pungent than the ones that are from the warmer areas of the nation. Now, medicinally, oregano contains chemicals that might help reduce cough. Oregano may also help with digestion and with fighting with some bacteria and viruses. People use oregano for wound healing, parasitic infections, and other conditions, but there is no good scientific evidence to support these uses. It may possibly be effective for high cholesterol. Clinical research shows that oregano after each meal for 3 months can reduce the low density lipoprotein, or the LDL cholesterol, and increase the high density lipoprotein HDL, the good cholesterol in people with high cholesterol. However, total cholesterol and triglycerides levels are not affected. It may also help in parasites that are in the intestines. So some of the most common uses for oregano in recipes are usually tomato-based recipes like pizza and pasta sauce, as well as olive oil-based dishes. Oregano is commonly combined with olive oil to create a flavor of oregano oil, and it's used in Italian vinaigrettes and marinades for lamb, chicken, and beef dishes. However, cooking with oregano doesn't have to be limited to those recipes. It can be used in dishes like oregano and beans, or herb rolls, or in hamburger meat, and grilled shrimp and oregano. But a word of caution for this dried herb. A little goes a long way. This herb can be overwhelming when it's used in excess. So keep that in mind when you're doing your cooking adventures. Now I would like to talk about basil. Now, basil is usually found in a chopped form coming from your spice aisle at your grocery stores, and the live version of basil looks like this. Now here's a much closer look at the basil when it is in the dried form. Now basil is also called great basil. It is a culinary herb of the family of mints. As you notice, a lot of these that I'm covering are all in the mint family, so keep that in mind when you're thinking about these plants. It is a tender plant and is used in cuisines worldwide. In the West cuisine, the general term basil refers to the variety also known as sweet basil or Genovese basil. Basil is native to tropical regions from Central Africa to Southeast Asia. Basil is commonly used in recipes in general and should be added last as cooking quickly destroys the flavor. The fresh herb can be kept for a short time in plastic bags in the refrigerator, but you can keep it in the freezer for a long time if it's blanched prior to freezing. There are over 60 varieties of basil, some which are red or purple, and each has its own distinct flavor. Sweet basil is the most popular and common variety, and there are several types of sweet basil available. Thai basil is also called in for many recipes because of its anise-like flavor. Yes, we're talking about star anise flavor, which is a licorice type flavor. It is distinguishable from sweet basil by its purple stems and sturdy leaves. Other varieties are named for the way they smell or taste, such as lemon basil, cinnamon basil, and spicy bush basil. Now, basil is sold fresh or dried, but the fresh basil is typically preferred for cooking. Although dried has more concentrated flavor than fresh, dried basil does not have the same taste. The dehydrating process draws out more of the mint flavor and less of the anise. The taste of basil will depend on the variety. Sweet basil has a fresh aroma, but a subtle peppery flavor and a hint of mint. Other varieties taste of citrus and spice. Thai basil is more savory with a spicy licorice flavor, as I discussed above. For the most intense flavor, fresh basil should be added at the end of the cooking process. Prolonged heat will cause basil's volatile oils to dissipate. And if using dried basil, it needs to be included at the start of the recipe so the herb has time to soften and infuse with other ingredients. Now, basil is often paired with tomatoes, as it helps mellow some of the acidity of tomatoes. In addition, a pesto can be made with basil and used in a variety of dishes from appetizers to desserts. Now, medicinally speaking, basil is noted for having antioxidants and antiviral properties in it, and also antibacterial. Basil helps maintain skin health, boosts digestion, and detoxifies the body. It also helps in the prevention and cure of diseases like cancer, diabetes, and other heart conditions. Fresh basil contains vitamin A, vitamin K, iron, magnesium, calcium, and essential oils. Many of the basil's health benefits come from these antioxidants, as well as its essential oils. These compounds mostly disappear during the drying process, so opt for fresh basil whenever possible to gain the most benefits of this herb. In cooking, there are many ways to enjoy basil. If you're looking to incorporate it into your diet, consider some of the following: Tuscan chicken, caprese salad, use of pesto for pasta and pesto dishes, balsamic basil chicken, or cannelli beans with an herb sauce which contains basil. Just as you know, it is used in most Italian dishes like spaghetti sauce and lasagna. And it is a very good tasting herb, and I prefer it fresh rather than having it dried. But as you can see, during the winter months, I have to improvise and use the dried variety. Now let's move over here to parsley flakes. Now, parsley is considered garden parsley. It is native to the central and eastern Mediterranean regions: Sardinia, Lebanon, Israel, Cyprus, Turkey, South Italy, Greece, Albania, Portugal, Spain, Malta, Morocco, Algiers, and Tunisia. But it has been naturalized elsewhere in Europe and is widely cultivated herb, and it's a vegetable. Parsley is widely used in European, Middle Eastern, and American cuisine. Now, before I go any further, I want you to take a look. Now, the parsley that comes in these bottles are flat leaf parsley. There are actually two varieties. One is an Italian parsley, which is the flat leaf, and then you also have curly parsley. And like I said, the herbs that you see in the herb bottles are from the flat leaf variety, so they're the Italian parsley. Now, curly leaf parsley is often used as a garnish, and in Central Europe or Eastern Europe and Southern Europe, as well as Western Asia, many dishes serve with the fresh chopped parsley sprinkled on top. Now, the flat leaf parsley that I just discussed is similar, but it's easier to cultivate. Some say that it has a stronger flavor. Now, the entire plant of parsley can be used. There's parsley root, which is very common in Central, Eastern, and Southern European cuisines, where it is a snack or a vegetable in many soups, stews, and casseroles. Now, parsley is widely used in the Middle Eastern, Mediterranean, Brazilian, and American cuisine. The curly leaf parsley is used often, like I said before, to garnish. Green parsley is frequently as a garnish for potato dishes, boiled or mashed, on rice dishes like risotto or pilaf, on fish, fried chicken, lamb, goose, and steaks, as well as in meat or vegetable stews. Now, include shrimp creole, beef bourguignon, goulash, and chicken paprikash. Now, it's used. Now, let me explain. The use for parsley can include the whole plant, as I stated before. The leaves and the stems are usually used inside your main dishes, but you can also use the seeds and the root. Also, parsley seeds are used in cooking, and they usually impart a stronger parsley flavor than the leaves. Now, in Central Europe, Eastern Europe, and Southern Europe, as well as many Asian countries, many dishes are served with fresh green chopped parsley sprinkled on top. In Southern and Central Europe, parsley is part of a bouquet garni, which is normally a bundle of fresh herbs used in ingredients for stocks like soups and for sauces. Now, fresh parsley or green parsley is used as a topping for soups like chicken soup or green salads, and salads open-faced sandwiches with cold cuts or pâtés. Now, medicinally, what are the benefits of eating parsley? Parsley works as a powerful natural diuretic and can help reduce bloating and blood pressure. Parsley is loaded with vitamin K, which has been linked to bone health. The vitamin K, meaning, supports bone growth and bone mineral density. One study on parsley found that it helps protect against osteoporosis in rats. So because parsley has high amounts of vitamin K, it's important because it helps blood to clot in addition to contributing to your bone health. Now, parsley is also rich in vitamin C and other antioxidants, which help reduce the risk of serious health conditions like diabetes, stroke, heart disease, and cancer. In dishes or many recipes, parsley is used, as you well know, in many Italian dishes. And the combination of parsley, basil, and oregano is especially used for spaghetti sauces and pestos. But there's a wide array of dishes that you can use this in. Put chopped parsley on everything. Don't chop it too finely. Bigger pieces are prettier and more flavorful. Throw it in abandoned on the top of a grilled vegetables, roasted potatoes, a cold green bean salad, stews, soups, pasta. Hot or cold grain dishes like couscous or quinoa or tabbouleh, just to name a few. Well, I hope my video has explained some of the information with regards to these three major Italian herbs that are so frequently used in Italian cuisine. I hope that you'll stay tuned for more as I cover herbs and spices used in cooking. Now, the next ones that I will be downloading or uploading will cover things like garlic. Most onions that are associated with the garlic family are actually, garlic is an onion family. And we'll talk about saffron, and we'll also cover a couple more things. So with that, have a good evening and enjoy your day. Bye-bye now.